The Philippine Mining Club and the Philippine Infrastructure and Construction Club are professional networking forums bringing industries together and creating opportunities for the Philippine mining and infrastructure and construction industries. Networking is about giving, not taking. It is about forming trust and helping one another toward mutual goals, regularly engaging with your contacts, and finding opportunities to strengthen relationships. Networking is a great opportunity to exchange best practice knowledge, learn about the business techniques of your peers, and stay abreast of the latest industry developments. Opportunities like partnerships, invitations to events, introductions, and giving talks and presentations bring challenges that benefit and feed your career, professional development, and personal interest. Gaining the advice of experienced peers is an important benefit of networking.
Good morning to our esteemed guests joining us from across the globe. My name is Joanne Falcotella and it's my distinguished honor to welcome you to this webinar. Today marks a significant milestone as we formalize and explore the partnership between the Philippine Mining Club and the Resource Connect Asia. We are joined today by the project owners, global investors, technology innovators, and policy advocates, all united by a singular vision for the future of the Philippine mining. The Philippines is currently at a critical juncture. We sit upon some of the world's most significant untapped mineral reserve resources that are essential for the global energy transition. However, wealth in the ground is only potential. To turn that potential into a national progress, we must navigate a complex energy crisis and meet the world's rising demand for responsible mining. We don't just need a capital, we need the right capital. We don't just need mining, we need modern, green, and ethical mining. This partnership with RCA is a catalyst we've been waiting for. By leveraging RCA's deep network of Asian capital and offtake partners, we are focusing our efforts on three pillars. First, investment mobilization. We are streamlining the path for innovators to meet project owners, ensuring critical sites get the funding they need to move from discovery to production. Second, operational excellence. We are opening the doors to green technology transfers, ensuring our mines are not just productive, but energy resilient and environmentally sound. Third is strategic market entry. We are positioning the Philippines as a primary driver of the regional low-carbon economy. Through transparency, ethical practice, and strategic alliance, we are ensuring that the Philippine mining remains a competitive and vital pillar of our national economic recovery. Without further ado, let us begin. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker from the Philippines, Mr. Rocky G. Dimaculangan, Vice President for Communications and National Coordinator towards Sustainable Mining. Mr. Dimaculangan has nearly 4 decades of experience in corporate communications and public relations. He was connected with 3 of Asia's most admired companies, the San Miguel Corporation, Jollibee Foods Corporation, and Ayala Land Incorporated, multinational Filipino firms and market leaders in food and beverage manufacturing, food service, and real estate development, respectively. He has moved around the mining industry with a stint as Director for Public Affairs of Canada-affiliated TVI Resource Development Philippines, and then as Vice President for the Communication of the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines of Intex Resources Philippines, Incorporated, and of Mark Ventures Mining and Development Corporation. In 2018, he returned to the Chamber of Mines. He attended the Management Development Program with honors of the Asian Institute of Management and is a recipient of the Outstanding Business Administration Graduate Award from the University of Santo Tomas. Again, let's call Mr. Rocky Dimacolangan.
Okay, Rocky, it's your turn. Welcome to your presentation, please. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this discussion. We're all coming into this conversation with a shared sense that things have become more complicated than usual. Fuel costs are up, supply is uncertain, and many of these pressures are coming from outside our control. And right in the middle of all that is mining, an industry that by its nature consumes a lot of energy, but at the same time produces the minerals like nickel and copper that are essential to the global energy transition. So we're managing both sides of that equation. Next slide, please. Let me start briefly with the fuel situation, because that's what's immediately in front of us. Higher oil prices have clearly increased operating costs, especially for heavy equipment and marine logistics. Our members are responding in very practical ways: tighter fuel efficiency measures, better mine planning, and more disciplined logistics. At the same time, some operations are beginning to integrate renewable energy and other efficiency improvements to reduce exposure to fuel price volatility. The industry remains largely diesel dependent, but these steps are helping strengthen resilience and keep operations running. But stepping back, this is really a short-term pressure. Next slide, please. The issue is logistical, not structural. Demand for what we produce, nickel, copper, even gold, remains strong, especially with the energy transition. And in a way, this situation is also creating an opportunity for closer alignment between government and industry, and for the sector to become more efficient and more resilient over time. The Philippines has always been resource rich. That hasn't changed. What has changed is the context we operate in. Demand remains strong, but expectations have also become sharper. Communities are more engaged, regulators are more watchful, investors are more selective. So the conversation is no longer just about how much we produce. It's about how we produce it and whether we can sustain that over the long term. Next slide, please. On energy, I'll keep this grounded. There's a lot of discussion around renewables, and that's important. But when you look at actual mining operations, especially in remote areas, the transition is not immediate. What we're seeing is something more practical. Companies are introducing solar where it makes sense, using battery support where it helps, and becoming more disciplined in how energy is used across operations. Companies like Nickel Asia Corporation have invested in their own renewable energy arm, initially called EPI and now NAC Energy, to support this shift over time. We also see solar being deployed around operations. For example, in Rio Tuba in Palawan, where solar has been used to support host communities and reduce reliance on diesel-powered systems. And in the case of TVIRD, a 5 megawatt power solar plant is being developed. It is expected to be completed this end of May at Greenstone Resources Corporation's Siana Gold project to help augment power requirements and reduce dependence on the grid. Now, these were not all driven by the situation. Some of these projects have been in the pipeline for some time, but they've become more relevant today. So what you see is not a dramatic shift, but a gradual one. Diesel is still part of the system and will be for some time, but it's being supplemented and used more efficiently. And in this environment, that makes a meaningful difference. Next slide, please. On resource security, just a few points. We've long been exporters of raw ore, particularly nickel, and that has played an important role in positioning the Philippines globally. But clearly, the bigger opportunity is to move beyond that, to process more, refine more, and retain more value within the country. We already have operating facilities like Coral Bay Nickel Corporation and Taganito HPAL, which process ore into products used in the battery supply chain. There are also new initiatives being explored, including the proposed processing collaboration between Nickel Asia and DMCI, which aims to handle more ore locally. The government has been supportive in pushing this direction and encouraging more value-adding investments in partnership with other countries such as US, South Korea, and hopefully Japan, China, Australia, and Canada. Next slide, please. If we look more broadly at energy security, there are also ongoing discussions around developing resources like Rectobank. With the current administration planning to reopen dialogue on joint exploration, companies like PXP Energy Corporation, a subsidiary of Chamber of Mines member Philippine Philex Mining Corporation, are again looking at the potential of Service Contract 72. If that progresses, it could help address the expected decline of Malampaya over time. But these are long-term developments. They require stability, capital, and confidence in the sector. Next slide, please. On policy, we in the Chamber believe that there have been positive developments. There is the passage of the new large-scale metallic mining fiscal regime, which is important to potential investors in providing clarity and predictability. Efforts like the Anti-Red Tape Authority Electronic Mining One-Stop Shop, or EMOS, are expected to help streamline permitting processes, which has been a long-standing concern. And within the Environment Department and the Mines and Geoscience Bureau, the main regulatory agency overseeing mining, there is a noticeable shift towards more data-driven approaches, better monitoring, better transparency, and more informed decision-making. These may not always be headline reforms, but they do improve how the system functions. There is still work to be done, but the direction is encouraging. Next slide, please. Now, this is where it really matters. This brings us to what I believe is the foundation of everything: community and environment. This is where operations either hold or don't. You can have strong production, you can improve efficiency, but if you don't trust, you don't have the trust of your host communities, it becomes very difficult to sustain operations over time. And this is where the Chamber of Mines Toward Sustainable Mining, or TSM initiative, plays a very important role. TSM is not just a commitment, it's a system. Companies are required to assess their performance, undergo validation by highly reputable external verifiers, and publicly report their results. So there is discipline and there is accountability. It covers areas like tailings management, biodiversity conservation, engagement with host communities and indigenous peoples, health and safety, crisis preparedness, and climate change. And what we've seen in Canada, the originator of TSM, is that companies that take this seriously tend to operate more smoothly. They build stronger relationships locally, face fewer disruptions, and are better positioned for the long term. So responsibility in this case is not just compliance, it supports the business itself. The members of the Chamber of Mines are beginning to know this as we enter the TSM second verification cycle after they've completed their external validation in 2024 and 2025. Next slide, please. We are clearly operating in a more complex environment today. Energy is constrained, expectations are higher, and the margin for error is smaller. But the fundamentals are still there. The Philippines has the resources. We have capable operators, and we are seeing gradual improvements in how we manage energy, how we approach value adding, how the government provides policy support, and how we engage communities and protect the environment. The need to operate responsibly is now more pronounced. The task now is to build on that, to stay practical, to stay consistent, and to keep moving forward, even if progress is incremental. If we can do that, I believe the industry will not just navigate this period, will come out of it stronger and more credible. Thank you.